What's going on, my brother?
What's up, dude?
How you been?
How are you?
Doing good?
Doing good, man.
Good.
How are you?
Good to see you, dude. I feel like every time I see you on Instagram, you're posting some funny Instagram social or celebrating with Buffalo Trace, somebody getting under contract. So
Yes,
I'm excited to talk to you today, man.
That's good.
I don't have my Buffalo Trace. I don't have my Buffalo Trace with me quite yet, but I saw that video this morning, dude. I do have a little something just in case it gets a little wild.
There we go.
How's your morning, man?
It's good, dude. It's another morning in real estate, I should say, but it's been going. It's good. No complaints. Business
still pretty sharp. Everything in the market's still pretty wild. All that stuff still looking pretty trending upwards.
Yeah, it's. I was actually just talking to some folks about the first quarter results that we saw here, and it's interesting. Paying close attention to some things this next quarter. With rates going up here recently, you've already got a couple of buyers that's, that messed up their situation, things like that. So it's going to be. I keep telling people. I think this year is going to be different,
interesting,
a little bit. And again, I haven't. I didn't experience anything from previous crazy markets or things like that, but this is the first year that I got into business in 2016. It's the first year where I'm just like, what's some of these changes? What's going to be the impact? So,
yeah. So the interest rates are quickly rising. I think here in Florida, and I don't know if it's nationwide quite yet, but around 5%. It seems like it's kind of starting to jump into. I don't think we kind of expected to see it this fast.
No,
I saw early in the year. The Fed was saying that it would probably be around 6, but here we are in April and we're at 5. I'm like, well, what does that mean? What are we going to get to?
Yeah. I thought it was going to be a slow increase, but they threw it out there real quick.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm excited to have you on, bro. There's so much that I am so excited to talk to you about because Austin St. Jean always has been raving about you. He's like, dude, you got to talk to Bryan Colquitt. That man has a heart for leadership, a mind for success. And I just knew that you being a married man and having to run a team and trying to grow. And so I just wanted to pick your mind on some things this afternoon and this morning. Man. So I see that you were doing a Luncheon Learns recently. How are you still doing that actively? Do you have any on your radar? And kind of speak to me how that last one went.
Yeah, I actually have a meeting later on today, right at lunchtime, to discuss the next one. Awesome. That was something we did the first one last year. The point of that is, giving back, helping other agents, so many agents that it's not just our people, it's basically opening up to other local agents. And the topics could be, this past one, we talked a lot about marketing and, I think Cam Lovelace. So we had Cam was on there and, he talked a lot about, what he does for prospecting. So just giving different perspectives from different local agents. But I mean, the goal to that is our goal that Kara and I have is going to try to be to every quarter, doing at least one of those Luncheon Learns per quarter and switching the topics up. I've joked and you guys down there that maybe having you guys up and something like that. We'll play some golf when you're here and let you guys share some insights around marketing and things like that. So, that was event number 2 that we have. But we've had a good turnout, man. Both times we've had, 40 or 50 agents there, which is great. We always say we're going to have 40 or 50 agents and you expect like 15 of them to show up, but we've had a packed house both times. So it's been fun and it's it puts me in a different, environment. And I actually I've found that I enjoy that. I like helping other people. I like coaching and give them some input and, it may not help all 40 people in that room, but there are a couple of them that, it's going to help. So that was was a big thing. We had a lot of good feedback.
I saw one of the subjects that you were talking about was like your calendar and time blocking, which is extremely interesting because I know in any field, it's one of those things where you don't really know how your day is going to line up. You got all these things you got to knock out and you're like, shit, where's it all going to fall? Can you talk to me like a little bit about some of the points that you spoke on, like with time blocking and how you set up your day for whatever it may fall within inspections, closings, things like that?
Yeah. I mean, of course, time blocking is one of those boring subjects that nobody wants to hear about or talk about, especially when it comes to real estate agents. But it's important. And like you said, it's every business, I should say. But so we just talked about, I'm a morning person. Some people aren't. Some people like to, knock things out later on in the day, but I'm a morning person. So I'm very, I try to get to office and have my time to where, maybe the phone calls aren't coming in yet, maybe the, questions aren't coming from agents and need where they're needing help at and so forth, or, the appraisal hasn't came in low or whatever it is, all the chaos that you deal with throughout the day. So we talked a lot about time blocking that, getting your day started for the things that's going to help, grow your business. We call it working in versus working on, things like that. So yes, I mean, that's a big piece of my business is trying to time block a little bit more, and I always say just setting your schedule up for success and what that looks like. And, as I've grown through business, of course, it looks different. It may be early years was a lot of heavy prospecting in the beginning. Now it may be of, I may be working on something in particular about the business or the company that's going to help the team or things like that. So it's just what are the things that I need to get done today? What's that 2 or 3 most important things that's going to help grow? And then I can get to all the chaos of the day that real estate brings and so forth.
So would you say like early morning is like your time to like, let's set this up? Like, I know for me, it's kind of quiet in the first 2 hours. I try to get up a little early to tackle the little mundane emails and get where I feel like I get momentum and flow. Cause that's usually around 11 a.m. We're in that hectic phone calls.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Hey, can you be here at 2 and all that? Are you a morning person like that?
Oh yeah, I've always been a morning person. I think it started back, me being a golfer, growing up, being at the golf course, things like that, working there. You had to be there early. In summer times, being a cart boy at the golf course, you had to be there, 5:36, start getting carts out for the first groups, things like that. So I've always been that early person, want to get things done. It's changed over the years, of course, as you have busy days and it's a little bit harder to get up that next morning, but yeah, I mean, and you mentioned like emails and things like that. I try my hardest not even to touch the emails or whatnot before, get a couple things off my plate that I know maybe I didn't get to yesterday, or I want to, check off certain things. It's following up on those, those leads or whatever it is, to where the emails sometimes can wait, and some people say, unless the house is burning down, it could wait till after lunch in a way, because that's what it is. I mean, it's a lot of times, do I have to pick up that phone right there? And do I have to respond to that email? In the beginning, it was, oh crap, I got to, they're gonna get mad, they're gonna fire me, whatever it was. But as I've grown and as I've come to be a little more comfortable, you realize that I have to spend those hours in the morning knocking some of those things out. Because if I don't, I'm just, I'm waking up every day and just solving, tasks and problems and things like that. But are we growing? Are we taking steps forward? And it's hard to take steps forward and focus on those things when you're answering every phone call or email or, replying to an inspection report, whatever it is, and those things have to happen. But we also got to understand we got a business to run and grow and responsibilities for and so forth. So that's where my morning focus goes to, is that.
Yeah. What I love that you do, I was looking at your Instagram, like I said this morning, and I think one cool thing that you guys really do is anytime you get a new team member or agent on staff, you always like introduce them through a social post. I thought that was pretty cool, because I know that makes like anytime as somebody joins a team, they feel that, that receptance to like, oh, they're joining the staff. They're excited for me. I think that's sweet. How do you bake in time to kind of socially have social media planning with your reels and those social posts for your staff? Like, when do you find time to find inspiration and then actually implement?
Man, I'm not gonna lie. It's sometimes, most of the time, I'm gonna say 90% of the time, it's not necessarily planned. It needs to be, but 90% of the time, it's unplanned. It's just in the moment, to where we know, I know I have to get certain things done and post certain things, but I'm not gonna sit there and tell you that it's on my calendar. I got this 30-day marketing calendar built out. I don't. I know it's something I need to get done. I talk about the agents and things, but most of that, and it's too, I've seen that with stories and things like that. Social media it's became more in the moment anyways. I feel like that's been more of the bigger traction pieces, is just, hey, like, it's in the moment, post certain things, but no, dude, there's nothing, it's not planned. It's wanted, and it's, the ideas are there, but a lot of times it's like, hey, I need to do this real quick. I've got 5 minutes before the clients show up or whatever it was. Let me go ahead and hop on there and do that post. I recorded a market video this morning I'm going to put out, and I'm just like, all right, at least I got it done. Now when I'm going to post it, that's to be continued, right? So little things like that. I will record some videos or make some posts and have it in a template or things like that, and then because I'm a word person. I like to type it out and really think about what it sounds right and so forth, and delete it a couple times and repost it again. So, I'll at least shoot the material, the content, and, and have the post ready to go. But it's more of a, just whenever I get a second, I'll post it.
Yeah, I asked you because I'm the same boat. Like, I'm always trying to figure out how the hell can I be more systematic? 'Cause in business, you're always like, how can I scale this? How can I scale it? But it's not meant to be, because it's genuine. There's trends that are happening. There's funny things. There's situations, like, so it's all in the moment and how you can, try to attribute for it. But one thing that I feel like has helped me a lot is I'm in the person where I like to see things in the moment and then create, and then the distribution schedule. That's another topic. Mm-hmm. But what I really like to do is, like, if you go on your Instagram feed and there's like that bottom right collections tab, it looks like a little check mark or checkpoint. I sit there and checkpoint it and name it like something funny or something educational. And that way, whenever I get back to it or have time to create, I can kind of see, like, was this more of a comedic play, or was this, how did they present something that I think would be interesting for my audience? So that helps in that regard. But then it's still the time of, I find myself trying to create things at 7 p.m., which I know is probably not healthy, because I think I'm pretty sure I work like pretty solid, like at least 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then before I know it, I'm thinking about how to make the next Instagram reel at 9 o'clock. I'm like, dude, I got to shut off. That's the hardest part. That's the hardest part.
1,000%. That's my biggest daily challenge is this brain turning off to have what we call personal time or quiet time. But I'm like, man, this brain don't shut off. But that's the beauty. But that's also the beauty of, being a visionary, an entrepreneur, things like that. We're not in many ways, not at least. I'm not I'm not great at task lists and checklists. Like, I have them, but a lot of it is just more brain dump type stuff. Hey, I got all these ideas in my head. Let me get it on paper. And then we kind of set a process of when they're going to be planned and worked on. But that's been the biggest thing is, like you said, trying to shut off the brain in the evenings where I'm not writing down, oh, here's all the things I need to do tomorrow, or whatever it is. Like, planning those things out has been always a challenge.
Yeah. No, I'm the same way. If you looked at my notes page, it's probably scary, like OCD, like they might want to study me one day. Like, this guy is a psychopath. How many stuff I have to get? I have to get it from head to a checklist format. Well, myself, I can't do it.
Yeah, that's what I call. I mean, I got a big board up in my office now. I mean, it's I have certain things on there, but then it's a brain dump. A lot of it is whether it's on the board, whether it's in my notes tab, whether it's in my notebook. Like, I've got some brain dumps out there where all my ideas are out, and it's like, all right. Now I've got 50 or 100 of them. When are we going to start implementing some of these? So it's always something.
Now, your wife joined the staff in 2019, right? I think I saw that. So
yeah. So she's a little bit different on that. So she was in a different job, different industry, was not in real estate. And then February of 19, that sounds right. Yeah. So she left. I had an assistant at the time that was helping me with some things, and just running numbers. Being a business person, we kind of looked at some things. I'm like, hey, we can, in a way, keep this in-house. She has the skill sets that are perfect for that role. So we just looked at some things, and we talked about it, and ultimately she was looking for a change as well. And it was a great way for her to be more involved with the business and so forth. So we hadn't started our company yet. We were still at the previous firm, but she just started and helped a little bit there at the off front desk, doing some things, but mostly, TC work, transaction stuff for me. And then just, we've grown to there. And now, heck, I feel like, we continue adding different titles and things for her, because she's the back end do it all for everybody here right now.
That's excellent. So how are you able to, kind of going back off our last topic of shutting down at 5 and not letting things, you used a funny title there. I think you said like shutdown hours or quiet hours. Like, how are you able to compartmentalize, like, this is my wife, this is like, times to just be a family. And then over here, it's like, how do we increase production by 20%? Like, that's got to be an interesting dinner topic at times.
Yeah, it is. And then sometimes she gives me that, I'm not talking about work right now, look, just leave me alone type thing. I've learned the one rule is don't put business in her brain right before bedtime, because she'll be like me, she'll be up and so forth. So it's challenging, dude. It's one of those things we still work. It's not easy. I mean, because again, I feel like my brain doesn't shut off. It's consistent, and it's always on the business or whatnot. I'm always studying and talking to people and things like this. So it's always evolving, but it's challenging. It's one of those things where, you've got to put time aside. We'll do trips and things like that. Of course, that's our escape sometimes. It's just, let's get away and, maybe get away from the business and shut our brains off a little bit. So we love to go up to the mountains and do some of those trips and so forth. So, but no, it's a work in progress, I should say, around balancing those different things. But she's great, man. I mean, she does well. She does a lot better than I do of shutting the brain off. I'll catch her sometimes where she'll be working on something and I'll reverse it. I'm like, hey, this is what you doing working. We're not working right now. And then, again, she'll give me that look like you're one to talk. Right. So, yeah.
Then you're the doghouse for 2 months. Oh man, we can make a whole podcast and an Instagram strategy just on that topic alone. That's marriage counseling stuff. That's awesome to talk about. I love it. We have a calling later on in life if this is something we want to run after.
What not to
do. No, yeah, exactly. How to shut off at 4:30 and not be divorced in 4 years, like stuff like that. The whole webinar.
A lot of people sign up for that one.
Yeah, we would. 3,000 the first hour. Conferences, I know you mentioned a little bit ago, like you love talking to people, like can pick other people's mindsets and things like that. Do you guys frequently try to have your staff or attend like maybe big conferences like Tom Ferry events or maybe internal webinars? How do you guys like try to continue to sharpen the axe and feel like you guys are adequately prepared?
Yeah, I mean, it's a daily thing more in all honesty. We've over the years definitely attended many events. A lot of the team, we went last year to, we're EXP now. We went to their big event in Vegas, done some Tom Ferry events. We're in a 12-week class right now, training thing that I signed a team up with some folks as well. But no, it's an everyday thing, right? It's one of our core values is growth mindset. So it's constantly, from sharing Instagram posts about, hey, like, look what Deputy's doing. Maybe try to duplicate this into our business, things like that. So it's constantly just putting out new ideas and trying to, learn and become better and, talk to a lot of people that's not in our local market. I got a lot of friends out in the business that are spread out and, just picking their brains, what struggles and what processes are you experiencing or are you going through? And, maybe this is something that I'm not there yet with, but it'll at least kind of get my brain working to when I get to that stage, it gives me some, avenues to work around to maybe, make it a little bit easier system or process to switch to and so forth. So yeah, I mean, again, that's going back to being the visionary mind that never shuts off. I'm always asking questions. I'm always wanting to, what's something to get better at, what's a way to learn, become a better leader, whatever it is, I'm there for it. I'm probably a little bit too much sometimes. I'm like, maybe sometimes you just need to slow down, but again, the brain never shuts off.
Never does. The core values, how long did you guys have that implemented? Because that's something that's so fascinating to me. Like that's something that I want to actually implement. I feel like our staff, we kind of embody them, but it's back to it's never necessarily written down and have like certain titles. And it's such a fascinating topic that I want to actually like have written down, and it's a part of our recruiting and things of that nature. When did you guys put that in place, and how does it how have you felt the effect of it?
Yeah, to be honest with you, it's newer. I say we've had them, but in the past it's been more of a feeling of their words on paper. Are they really our core values? In the beginning, you hear you need to get core values, you need to get all this different stuff. So we did them, but I think they're, my coach John Kitchens now always says, they're always there. Core values today may not be core values a year from now, right? So they're always evolving, and they, your core values become your culture and so forth. So it's still evolving, to be honest with you. It's changed a couple of times but there's a couple of them that's always there. I mentioned growth mindset and things like that. So it's a newer thing we worked on this year. We got into the VTO EOS process as far as goal planning and every 90 days, things like that. So that's a big thing for us this year. We shifted to work on is let's start really putting into those let's get there to where we have those solid core values that, as you just mentioned, everything runs off of. Your culture becomes that. You hire and fire off of those things and so forth. So it's getting there. There's still a couple of things that we've got in place that's I can see maybe changing and become a little bit stronger later on. But no, I mean it's all newer. It's one of those. This year for me was one of the next phases was from the leadership side of things and the ownership side of things was putting a little bit more things like that into place versus just, hey, that sounds good, let's put that on paper. But, I think it starts sometimes, another person's core values or vision, you can share that in a way. I've heard that recently as well, is that, it's okay to share to get yourself, but eventually you're going to start forming your own. Hey, these are our true core values. This is the way we live our lives. This is the way we live our business every day. This is what we talk about and so forth. So it's important. I can definitely see the impact that it's going to have as we continue to evolve those.
Yeah, I think it's so essential. That's something that I'm going to have to probably lean in on you when I get closer to that stage of like putting certain topics in place. Cause like I said, I think things are embodied, but they're so almost like at the subconscious level where we all kind of thankfully have had a great dynamic and team chemistry to where we all kind of feel like that we can kind of relate in that way. But long term, as the team continues to grow and it gets so much diversified, it's going to be tough to make sure that those are still instilled. So I think it has to be at the forefront of everything. I noticed, like, I think you said last year your word, like you had a word of the year, and it was I think in previous year it was patience, and then this was action this coming year. It seems like action was like, hey, let's get the core values in place, let's start getting ways to growth initiatives and things like that. Is there certain things that you attributed to that word action that you're excited about this year and that you may have already kind of hit the ground running as we hit Q2?
Yeah, I mean, in more than anything, it was just action around everything. The last couple of years, when we first opened the business and so forth, I don't say we grew a little bit too quick. We just didn't have a strategy in place.
Yep.
So I quickly, went back and through coaching and through some mentorship and things like that, we really focused last year, really 2019 and all the way through last year was, getting some foundation pieces in place. Let's build this thing right. Let's build it from the ground up and then grow, So that was things like, in the beginning, it was Jenny. It was just Jenny doing some of the admin stuff and the TC work and so forth. So last year we hired, one of our agents transitioned out of real estate or out of sales and into transactions. So we had that other foundation piece, and then, put Jenny in another role as well. So, and then now recently we have, a client concierge person that's kind of in charge of client experience and things like that. So that's a brand new role that we're rolling out and learning every day as well. But this year it's just now, now we have that foundation there and we feel good about it, where I didn't necessarily feel good about it in 2020 and 2021. It was every month was how can we get better? What system can we put in place? How can we make this process better and so forth? To where now I feel like we have those things in place to where now it's like, all right, cool. How do we get out of that foundation mode and into the growth mode to where now we've got those pieces there. Now let's start adding more people, or let's start adding, focus elsewhere to really, let's take off, and that's kind of been the action piece that I focus on this year. Is, we brought on 2 new agents. I told you we hired another lady in that office. So those are the things that we're like, hey, it's time to start growing, start adding more folks and seeing where we can take this.
Love that. Do you have a goal of how many people you like to bring on this year?
It's always changing. We did have a goal. We had a goal at the end of the year to have a total of 10 agents. So right now, including myself, we got 5. So we got a way to go to get there. But again, I could say it changes weekly, monthly, different goals, different things come up and so forth. But it's still, the focus is still there. That's still on the vision board and so forth. We need people. We need to add more people to grow this and provide better service and experiences and everything. So yeah, that's still a focus, is how do we continue to add people to kind of really take this thing to the next level.
Yeah, I love it, man.
Yeah.
Well, I think Austin and myself, we got to try to get up there, and I'd love to see you guys and spend some time, especially get out of this hot. We're about to hit the heat of the summer here in Florida. Like it's already like 94. So like I'm pretty much sweating in my house right now. So I guess my last question for you is, how can I become a scratch golfer? Seems like you coming up in the day, and I'm still shooting in the 80s, and I get mad at. I'm the 89. I'm not even in the low 80s. I'll take it, man. But
I like how you quickly reverted that. Well, 89. So
yeah, 89. Like if I say 80, people are like, oh, 82, 83, and you're like, well, okay, let's just round it up.
Yeah. broke 90 once, but he's in the 80s, right?
Yeah. Do you have any plans to come down to Florida anytime soon, or you gonna be pretty landlocked for a moment?
Yeah, I mean, I joke with Austin all the time. We need to make a trip. I think last time we talked about Cam, even me and Cam making a trip down to see all you guys, and maybe making a weekend getaway to get down there, whether it's a conference or just coming down to hang out and play some golf and I told Austin I'd love
Yeah.
to see y'all's office because it looks amazing. You know, and I know there's a lot of growth opportunities there that you guys are looking at. So I'd love to. I'm with you though. Is maybe we need to push it to later on in the year because I don't know if I can handle the summer heat of Florida. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah, it's
70.
definitely.
If it can stay in the 70s, man, that's me. But it gets above 85 and 90, which it gets here, but
Yeah.
it's miserable sometimes.
Yeah, I would say if we can make it work in the next few months, we'll come see you guys just to take advantage of the
Yeah.
climate. But you guys got to definitely come down here. I think the next big event that, if you wanted to make it real estate related, is we have NAR down here in Orlando in November.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's going to be a pretty big one. But yeah, I would definitely want to get out there and see you guys, play a little golf, a little Buffalo
Sure.
Trace, have a good
A lot
time
of
and get to
Buffalo
see the
Trace.
office. Yeah, I see that, dude. I actually have never had it, but I probably might go
What?
try it this afternoon at some point. So, well, I appreciate you hopping on, Bryan. Thank you so much, dude. This, I can't wait to take a look at this content and let people see exactly how the things to implement core values and really grow a team at a foundational level. That's going to be such a great insight. Something I wish I would have known 3 years ago when we tried to establish Dippity. So, appreciate your heart, your insight, man, and let me know if you need anything. I'm looking forward to watching your success, brother.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on, and likewise to you guys over there at Dippity, man. And thank you for